this is Manindrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Naka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, young drivers caused the majority of fatalities in Fiji for 2016. Government expects major benefits from Paris Agreement, and dredging plan for all major rivers. Most road fatalities are caused by irresponsible young drivers, according to statistics from the Fiji Police Force. The Fiji Police Director Traffic SSP Mahesh Mishra says dealing with the attitude of young drivers is becoming a major challenge. Kelly Vavala has the details.
Drivers under the age of 30 have been found to be the most frequent offenders, causing deaths on our roads.
If you see the road fatality trend in Fiji now, majority of our drivers, probably this year, more than 10 drivers are below the age of 30 who are involved in road fatalities. And also our major concern is those drivers who have provisional license. The conditions are very clear, yet those are the drivers who are committing serious traffic offences. When we look at the statistic on speeding, drink and driving, dangerous driving, reckless driving, this associates with fatal accident and also with the young drivers.
SSP Mishra says drivers who have more than a decade's experience are said to be better road users, more cautious and better aware of road rules. The same can't be said for younger or newer drivers who know the rules but don't follow them.
Drivers, especially the younger ones, they are the one who causes most of the accidents. Like, for example, they are overspeeding, drunk driving.
Currently, it's true. It's mostly the young drivers. First of all, they don't know the road casualty.
I've been driving for 30 years. Number of accidents have been increasing now. There is a lot of young drivers and provisional drivers.
Police will be paying close attention to all road users in a joint operation with the Land Transport Authority to ensure safe driving practices are adhered to, especially for provisional and young drivers. Kelly Vavala, FBC News.
We will now cross over live to our journalist Kelly Vavala. Kelly, police have more statistics related to road deaths and general road infringements for 2016. What do the numbers say?
Jackie, out of the 20 road fatalities this year, 11, which is the highest number, were passengers, 4 who were drivers, 3 pedestrians and 2 cyclists. Common traffic infringements that has been associated with these fatalities are speeding, careless driving, dangerous driving and improper overtaking. Drunk driving is also a common problem. Jackie.
Thanks for that update, Kelly. A motion to agree to an independent audit of the FSC mills before the start of the 2016 crushing season was defeated in Parliament in the last hour. The motion was raised by opposition MP Prem Singh in light of 5 accidents that resulted in 3 deaths in the last 2 years in the mills. Akusita Thale has the details.
That Parliament agrees to an independent audit of
the call for an independent audit of the FSC's mills focusing on mill operations and health and safety procedures was highly debated this afternoon. Employment Minister Semikoro Lavisau did not support the motion as deaths in sugar mills were low compared to other fatalities between 2013 to 2016.
Total deaths in sugar mills have been 2. Work-related in motor vehicles, 8. Road accidents, 155. Drowning, 135.
Many of those members on
Acting Prime Minister Ayah Sayed Qayyum fired back at the opposition that there is no need for an independent investigation as it's already been carried out by Simon Gibbons, who was hired by Tate and Lyle and the American sugar refinery.
Mr. Gibbons' visit was delayed due to Cyclone Winston,
However, he carried out the audit from the 8th to the 13th of May this month, and is expected to conduct a final audit review around August or September of this year. These audits are part of the sustainability requirements under the world standard Pro-Terra compliance.
Prem Singh, in his motion, highlighted the need for an independent audit into the state of preparedness of the mills to be conducted by the government, FSC and the Sugarcane Growers Council.
Such inquiry should establish whether OHS workplace committees in the mill are properly constituted, with representatives of the workers leading them as required by our OHS regulators, as well as whether suitable monetary compensation, if any, has been paid to the families of the victims.
In the heat of things, even Secretary General to Parliament Viniana Namosimalua got carried away when announcing the votes. However, the results were wrongly read. The correct total was 28 ayes defeating the motion. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Dredging of the Singatoka River will start this year. Agriculture Minister Inia Serurato was asked about the government's plans to dredge the Singatoka River and Tuva River in the same district. Farzana Nisha has more.
Tenders for dredging of the Singatoka River were advertised in December last year, but everything was put on hold due to Tropical Cyclone Winston.
It will be done in 3 stages. And we hope to extract about 1,200,000 cubic meters of siltage. That will be done in 3 stages. The first stage will be undertaken in 2016-2017 period, involving the first 3.5 kilometers from the bridge to the river mouth. So that is due to start this year. Tuva River, Madam Speaker, is in priority 2.
Serurato says high silt levels are related to human activity or land use practices.
Nandronga is one of the high-intensive agriculture areas, likewise forestry and other extractive industries, and thus the contribution to high soil erosion, and thus the high level of siltage in the Nandronga areas, and of course Singatoka and Tuva rivers.
High levels of silt have been detected in the Nandronga, Singatoka and Tuva areas. Plans for dredging include Lambasa, Navua and Rewa River as well. Dredging at the Bar River mouth is on hold because of the magnetite extraction. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
There are many advantages to Fiji having ratified the Paris Agreement in the fight against climate change. Minister for Finance and Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says the onus is now on Fiji to ensure its own frameworks are in place to take advantage of global climate funding. Maggie Boyle with the story.
3 villages have had to relocate, with another 62 villages earmarked for future relocation due to climate change. Under the Paris Agreement, Fijians will have access to financial assistance for a number of climate change projects based on mitigation, adaptation and building resilience.
We put that up as a proposal to the Green Climate Fund, and they have in fact committed through the ADB a grant of about $32 million. So that's a grant, it's not a loan, and it's going to be implemented towards this water reticulated system for the greater Suvarnasori area.
Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says they're now working on being more efficient at a local level to access climate funds.
Fiji has put up the Fiji Development Bank as the financial institution that should be able to be the competent authority in Fiji to be able to access those funds and to be able to channel those funds then either to the private sector or to government. That certification process, Madam Speaker, we hope will be completed by the end of this year.
Cutting through the bureaucracy, he says, is a key focus for the Pacific.
This is why we have been advocating for a centralized training center where we have small island states come together to be able to know how to navigate through this whole green climate finance sphere.
The AG was responding to an oral question in Parliament. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC News, Northern Division looks at lessons learned from Tropical Cyclone Winston. And Fight the Bite campaign gains momentum. Stay with us.
FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Mulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. More than 3,000 primary and secondary students have undergone counselling along with 1,800 teachers. In a ministerial statement in Parliament, Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy stressed this will assist students and teachers in educational activities, especially in the aftermath of TC Winston. Savara Tambua has more.
The Education Minister says the psychological aid to students and teachers is vital to get the teaching and learning process back on its feet after the cyclone.
This year we organized psychological support program through counselling sessions for students and teachers and supported their efforts to realign themselves to schoolwork, Madam Speaker. Of course, it was a difficult process, but one that the Ministry of Education had written arts, handled with great care and urgency, Madam Speaker, given the aftermath and effect of the last cyclone, Madam Speaker.
Dr. Mahendra Reddy says most students have had a hard time getting over the circumstances they've had to live through during TC Winston. He is also adamant that their processes will be of great help, especially to children living in mostly affected areas.
They are making regular visits to the affected zones, talking to students, teachers, and even community, and providing means and ways for positive thinking, Madam Speaker, and continued aspirations for academic achievement, Madam Speaker.
The minister's statement drew criticism from the opposition, none louder than NFP MP Professor Biman Prasad.
Thousands of teachers out there, they are under pressure. They don't know what's happening. They get emails from the Minister for Education. You know, he decides on who gets appointed as head of department as principal.
Addressing problems faced by students is the main role of specialized counselors. The Education Ministry has streamlined the process, with students' reports now sent to the Education Office, who then collect the data and recommend counseling if need be. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
There are enough taxis for nightclub patrons in the early hours of the morning, according to Local Government Minister Parveen Bala. Bala was asked in Parliament about the impact of extended hours for nightclubs because people have to struggle to find public transport, which was a contributing factor in the death of 2 young men in Samambula, Suva last month. He responded that the Suva City Council has more than enough to serve the needs of the public at all hours.
They have 2,044 taxis and 250 minivan license issued. Out of this, I'm told that 20% do operate the hours that we are talking about. That's early in the morning. So really, there is no shortage of public transportation, and no one has raised this to Suva City Council or to my office or to LTA. Thank you.
Bala also says the LTA is considering public submissions of an open system where all taxis can operate in any part of Suva. Military ties between Fiji and France will be strengthened with the successful conclusion of negotiations on the Status of Forces Agreement, or SOFA. The agreement, once active, will extend military cooperation even further. Akusita Tale files this report.
Cheers. Cheers.
A toast to a new beginning for Fijian and French military relations. French Ambassador to Fiji Michel Djokovic says the Status of Forces Agreement negotiations are progressing well. SOFA is a legally binding working document that militaries from the two nations will use for joint exercises and other missions.
It's not a unilateral assistance from a big country to a small one. It's a mutually beneficial cooperation between two partners who also act internationally on the ground for peace.
This agreement will also include lessons in French for peacekeepers. Meanwhile, Fiji will also for the first time participate in the upcoming multinational military exercise Croix de Sous, or the Southern Cross, this year.
Preparation of the upcoming multinational military exercise Croix du Sud, or Southern Cross in English, started in 2002 and held every 2 years. This field training exercise, organized by the French Armed Forces in New Caledonia.
This exercise brings together armed forces from 13 countries around the world. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Just over 3 months ago, the biggest cyclone ever to make landfall in the southern hemisphere slammed into the Fiji group, killing 44 people and leaving a trail of destruction across much of the country. Many lessons have been learnt in the 60 days of state of natural disaster that ensued. Eleanor Turangaivu reports authorities in the north are looking at the whole operation and how it can be improved in the future.
What went well, what did not go so well, and what can be improved for the next operation? These are the three questions that were the gist of discussions during the first Lessons Learned from TC Winston workshop in Lambasa yesterday.
While the effectiveness of Fiji's overall response has been praised by our development partners, we realize that we need to do a lot better next time.
Heads of government ministries and departments in the north as well as NGOs put their heads together to share and discuss their experiences during the 60 days of state of natural disaster following the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston and the lessons learned from the whole operation.
There is no proper plan or SOP in some of the government departments or properly in villages. In the beginning, we need to have extended operating procedures that all government departments and the security personnel, we should have one SOP rather than each of the agencies have their own SOP.
Common issues identified include the need to explain and create awareness at the grassroots level, the meanings of terms used in weather forecasting, the different categories of a cyclone and its level of impact, and the need for a backup communication plan.
Awareness was done, but it wasn't sufficient. The difficulty is during that 1 week we had a blackout stage during that time. You had no TV, no radio, no internet, no mobile, which means the other way we could have indicated was use a healer. Go around like they did in Tanzania and tell them, okay, this is going to hit now, please. Because in Lambasa, the day of the cyclone, people are doing shopping.
Recommendations made in this one-day workshop will help improve future operations. This is the first of 6 such workshops funded by the EU that will be conducted before the national one in July. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Almost 50% of Fiji has been covered in the Fight the Bite campaign. Health Ministry Permanent Secretary Dr. Meduisele Tuivakau says the community has responded well and has been busy cleaning up compounds in surrounding areas. Dr. Tuivakau is urging the public to continue destroying all the possible mosquito breeding places.
This is a problem for all of us to partner in, and it's for a good cause. It's for the health of the people of Fiji. And we appreciate whatever assistance that you may be able to help us in this Fight the Bite campaign.
The Fight the Bite campaign will end on June 16th. We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Nakazaki, and hi again in sports tonight. Fiji's 7th trainer commends fitness levels. And South Pacific Bowling Carnival enters day 3 of competition. These stories and more coming up.
Sia tua ongonia saurara ondo wulwul tagituna TV ni na market e tawa ondo talitanga na waronga na Bula FM number 2 na sia
Bula mana viti na dango plasio mataire ngone mai na na bulo tabiuni au satu ko nanti ando talita ina warongo na Bula FM
Bula FM number 2 na série.
Vodafone Fiji's 7th trainer Nathaniel Mbuka has commended the fitness levels of the team from the 2015-2016 World Series. Mbuka says given the lack of resources, the national reps did exceptionally well. Rohit Deo tells us more.
Series champion.
The Vodafone Fiji 7 side had one of the best fitness levels throughout the World Series, and a lot of this can be credited to their trainer.
It's my pleasure to help these boys realize the talents that they have, and they're exceptional athletes. Having said that, we all agree that they still have, things to work on and improve. But, with the minimum resources that we have at our disposal in Fiji and how far these boys have come, and at the end of the series, we haven't had too many injuries compared with the Tier 1 nations.
Lawan Mbuka says he has set a personal goal and is working towards that.
Elite sport is very competitive, and for that, I need to be competitive myself. I need to measure myself with the best out there. And my personal goal really is working with these players to make sure that, number one, is they're injury-free, and number two, that they perform to the best of their ability and become world-class. And they've done it now for second year in a row, and we're really thankful and humbled as well.
The 24-member extended squad moves into camp next week to prepare for the Olympic Games. Coach Ben Ryan is expected to name his final 12-member team at the end of next month. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Suva rugby side faces its most difficult task in the Skipper Cup competition when they play Nandrunga this weekend. After 5 rounds, Suva is the only undefeated side in the competition and will face a wounded Stallions outfit that lost to Namosi 19-18 last week. The match kicks off at 3 p.m. this Saturday at Singatoka's Lawanga Park. Meanwhile, Suva leads the points table with 23 points, while Namosi is second with 19. Naitasiri follows in third spot with 18 points, while Nandrunga, Nandi and Northland are tied at 16. You can catch the live commentary of the Nandrunga Suva match on Bula FM. It will be do or die for the Vodafone Fiji football side when they take on the Solomon Islands in the OFC Nations Cup this evening. The national side will need to win or at least hold the Solomons to a draw to have any chance of making it to the semi-finals. In the last 6 meetings, the Solomon Islands have won 3, with Fiji winning only 1 match. The last time the two teams met, the game ended in a 0-0 draw at the 2012 OFC Nations Cup. The match kicks off at 9 o'clock tonight, and you can watch it live on FBCtv. The South Pacific Bowling Carnival is into its 3rd day at the Suva Bowling Club, and as expected, competition is stiff with a number of upsets recorded from day 1. Rohit Deo has more.
The South Pacific Bowling Carnival is shaping up to be the biggest ever. The first 3 days has seen some good competition amongst locals and the overseas bowlers.
The competition has been very, very competitive. It's probably due to the good weather that we're having. The overseas players have adapted very quick, so it was tough.
It's just the 3rd day of the competition and there's been some major upsets already on the cards. Majority Fijians have made it to the finals.
From yesterday, probably the two teams on paper that should have won met in the quarters.
The force discipline starts tomorrow with the singles events to be played on Saturday. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
In a first for the Fiji Car Club, its quarter-mile drag race and drag wars events will be held on the same day. Expect Pacific Harbour to be a hive of activity with a large number of drivers anticipated to compete in the 2 different categories this Sunday. Rohit there with the story.
Race car drivers and fans for the first time will see a drag race and drag wars happening on the same day. A drag race is when drivers compete for the best timing, while a drag war is when 2 vehicles race side by side.
Very happy to announce the Penrite quarter-mile drag race will be this weekend. Obviously, this is our 3rd event for the year. We are a bit delayed with the schedules, but nonetheless, we're in par to finish the 8 events that we had promised the members this year.
The Fiji Car Club expects a huge response as club members will now be allocated points for every race they attend.
What we have decided is to award points for the number of races that come in. So if you're taking part, we will add 10 points towards the annual awards night that we have beginning of each year.
Close to 40 cars are expected at the race this Sunday. The event begins at 10 a.m. at the Nanuku Airstrip in Pacific Harbour. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Fiji Fiji Sugar Corporation wants to crush fresh green cane when the new season gets underway. Corporation Executive Chair Abdul Khan says cane farmers must not even consider burnt cane delivery to the mills. Khan says everyone knows that this year there will be less cane compared to previous seasons, and therefore the FSC needs as much fresh cane as possible. The FSC chair adds that if cane farmers want to see more sugar production this year, they must work with the corporation. Weather across Fiji today saw some cloudiness and very light showers in the eastern areas, while in the west it was generally sunny. Looking at today's temperatures, Lambasa was the warmest at 33, while across the rest of the west temperatures were around 31. Suva and Savu reached the high 20s and under occasional showers. Tomorrow looks like it will be much the same as today, with an exception of cloudiness and light showers along the eastern shores. And the further outlook is for Thursday, and we can expect more of the same. Recapping the main stories for tonight, young drivers found to be the prevalent offenders causing the most fatalities so far this year. Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says many benefits will come from the Paris Agreement, and Education Ministry adamant that its counselling services are helping teachers and students recover from Tropical Cyclone Winston. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Time for this week's poll question. We are asking, should Fijians be redeployed to Sinai if the security situation improves? To answer, visit our FBC website. Be sure to send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
आपको खरगंगा की रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोलो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाटोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब वतन में कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।